Hi there, Lowell Lowerch of the province. Another video edition of the fifth quarter. Another loss for the BC Lions Saturday night at Empire Field in Vancouver, where the Lions lose 31-28 in overtime to the Edmonton Eskimos, and now the season is coming down to possibly a very perilous finish for this football team, which once again demonstrated an inability to close out games, or at least in overtime when they had a chance. The story of the game, though, of course, was the fact that the Lion defense had no defense, I guess, against the Edmonton running game. 346 yards rushing. It almost looked as if the Eskimos had dusted off some game tapes last year of a game that the Lions played against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, if you recall, a night when Fred Reed and Evanson Bernard ran all over the Lions. This time, though, it wasn't two running backs. It was the quarterback, Ricky Ray, of all people. The Lions just could not contain him. Wally Bono said after the game that basically he doesn't have to look at the game film. He'll look at the play of his linebacker, Solomon Eliminium, who's in a standout linebacker, but one who is can get prone to over pursuit or not pursuing in the proper angles, and Tom McKenzie as well. I mean, those guys are responsible for that facet of play. With the defensive ends crashing down, the linebackers did not pick up Edmonton running Ricky Ray, and as long as that was happening, Ray kept running, and he ran for a career high of 112 yards. Travis Lulay looked okay at certain points of the game. Lulay finished 23 for 33, 278 yards, including the overtime yardage, but also at times looked confused out there and didn't release on his first reads. Took off with a ball in his hand as well. Lulay 63 yards from 9 carries, and he was the Lions' offensive leader. But it was no match for Ricky Ray, who, as mentioned, had 135 yards rushing, and he was only second on the team in rushing yards to Daniel Porter, an import running back that the Eskimos have brought into their picture the last couple of weeks. Porter had 21 carries, 171 yards, just not good enough run defense for the Lions. We had a number of injuries to deal with in the defensive secondary. Davis Sanchez went down early. Anthony Reddick was hurt as well, but he came back. But a lot of adjustments for the Lions. But in the defensive secondary played well, and they managed to, I thought, do a pretty creditable job. Anthony Reddick on the wide side corner. In his first game action at that position, acquitted himself very well, but the Eskimos just had too much. So the Eskimos and Lions are tied with 5-10 records, but the Eskimos have the all-important tiebreaker with 3 games left. It's not over for the BC Lions. They certainly now have to get some hope and some help from the Eskimos and their opponents in the final 3 games of the regular season, and the Lions now must finish with more points, or at least one, in order to advance through to the playoffs in 2010. Again, Lions lose in overtime, second straight overtime loss. They go to Calgary on Friday next week. That's the fifth quarter. Have your say. Blog away, and we'll look forward to seeing what you've got to say.